Hey guys, it's time to get some rims cleaned up so we can combine them with tires and get them mounted on the 53 Ford. We got the first wheel set up in here. This one is pretty rough. You can see how well that shows up in the light, but the lip of this rim is in pretty rough shape. Possibly I can clean it up with the sandblaster and then maybe weld on it a little bit. But I'm thinking we're probably going to have to run a tube in this this particular rim. The other three, though, aren't in bad shape. If you're curious about the sandblaster setup that I have, I got a whole playlist on modifying the Harbor Freight style sandblaster. This particular one is from Princess Auto because I'm in Canada, but it's basically built the exact same. I've done a few interesting modifications to it. Let me get you guys set up in a stand. Hopefully you can see through the plexiglass, and we'll get some sandblasting done. Bit of a progress update. I've got probably close to 2 hours invested in this sandblasting. It's come a long ways. The inside of the rim here doesn't look too bad. Still a little bit of crud around the center here. This bead is very concerning though. I don't think this is ever going to be a decent wheel. This, what I'm thinking I'm going to try and do is find another one of these rims someplace, whether I have to order it in from a supplier online or however, get another rim, have 4 good rims on the truck, and keep this one with a tube in it as a spare, I think is where we're going to end up with this. But we need to get this thing rolling. I'm going to get a little bit more of this crusty stuff off of here and see if we can make this so that at least it'll hold air with a tube in it. The other ones are not in as bad a shape. I think they're going to clean up fairly quick. This one was by far the worst, and as I say, I got about 2 hours on sandblasting getting it to this point. But let me continue on here. Unfortunately, I can barely see what I'm doing through that window. There's no way you guys are going to see anything, and you'll have to use your imaginations to see what was going on inside the sandblaster. Let me make some more progress. I'll bring you back, and we'll, or probably the next time I bring you back, we're going to be to the point where we're going to start refinishing these rims. I got some high build primer that we can put on here, and some wheel finish paint for the outside, and just some trim-clad Rust-Oleum type stuff that we'll put on the backside. See you guys in a few minutes. Alright, this is the first one out of the sandblaster, wiped down. Got a coat of high build primer on there. It's still wet. I'm hoping it's going to dry to a little more matte finish, but I guess this will be alright if that's what it's going to be. I've got some trim clad to put on the back side. I haven't got that done yet, but we'll get on that shortly. This is what all of them are going to look like, I hope, and I'll bring you back when I got them all done and we can start mounting some tires. Hey guys, we got 3 of these cleaned up. Unfortunately, this 4th one is pretty much toast. Quite extensive pitting along the lip on this side, and the top is just as bad. I think eventually this one's going to get relegated to being a spare tire. For now, I'm going to put one of the good tires on it, but I'm going to put a tube in it. Before we do that though, and before I paint it, I think I'm going to take some JB-Weld and see if we can fill in some of the worst of the pits. No sense, rippling the bead of the tire if we can make this kind of a smooth surface. I don't want to rely on that to keep the air in. At least it'll smooth things out a little bit. Let me get you on a stand. I'll mix up some JB-Weld and we'll do a little time lapse here. See what I can come up with. I'm going to run a tube in this one as well. The beads aren't too bad on this one, but there's quite a bit of pitting right around where the valve stem goes through, and I don't think, other than filling it full of urethane or butyl or something like that, I don't know if there's any way we'd ever get the valve stem to seal up on that rim. I think probably our best bet is to tube this one as well. The rest of the rim isn't in bad shape. These are not factory original rims to a 53. I think they're from like 70s and early 80s. They're just a standard Ford steel rim. So I have found a place that sells supposedly, you know, used but in very good condition rims for about 160 bucks. So probably when I go to put this thing on the road, I might pick up a couple more of them, and these can be spare wheels or whatever we're going to do with them. But hopefully this will get us rolling. Let me put you on a stand. I'm not going to bother doing anything more with this and just putting a tube in it, but the other one, I want to clean up the bead. That's probably going to do it for us, just to kind of smooth things down. As I say, this is getting a tube. This is not a permanent fix. I'm just trying to take some sharp edges out of it. Let's let this set up, come back and do a little bit of sanding, and we'll see how it turns out in the end. The JB-Weld looks like it's set up fairly well. Get a little bit of sandpaper and do touch-ups. I don't know how well this is going to work. Something tells me this is a time-lapse waiting to happen. Let me speed up the video and you guys can listen to some music while I work away at sanding this. Hopefully my microphone cancels out the worst of that compressor noise. I've got it kind of sort of cleaned up here. It's not perfect, but I didn't really intend it to be. Got this shaped, put some sandpaper to it, took the die grinder with the flap disc, kind of shaped it up a bit. Would this be a permanent repair? I don't know. If I really went at it, maybe I could make it functional, but I'm just going to run a tube. We'll replace this wheel when I get closer to putting the truck on the road. For now, it should do just to make it a yard roller. I'm going to finish getting this cleaned up, squirt a little bit of paint at it, and basically get ready to mount some rubber. I'll bring you guys back when we get to that point, and we'll see how the tire machine and how the tires work out. Well, there's the first one mounted. I didn't bother showing you guys this first one because, quite honestly, I haven't done this in a long time, and I wanted to have a crack at one before I tried demonstrating it. I put a little bit of soap around the beads, and we don't appear to have any leakage on this one. I lined up the yellow dot. There's a red dot and a yellow dot. I'm not sure which one indicates it's supposed to be lined up with the valve stem, so I lined up the yellow dot with the valve stem. Is that a mistake? Is that not a mistake? I don't know. Anyways, that's number one. Put white lettering on the backside, just because white lettering looks good if you got like a mag wheel, but these factory steelies, and if I put dog dishes on them, I think we just want a black wall tire. Let me put you on a stand and we'll take a crack at number 2. Also remember we put the hold down clamp. I'm going to use a medium valve stem. Take the center core out. Put a little bit of soapy water on the valve stem, make it slide up into place easier. Put our tool on there. And just kind of pry up. That pops into place really easy. Or we leave the Schrader valve out of the valve stem when we're seating the bead so that we can keep higher flow of air in there. This is just soap and water and a Harbor Freight parts brush. And this is where we have to decide which side is going to be out. Of course, I want black wall out, so we got to make sure that is up. And we take our soapy water. Works as a lubricant on the bead. We do that on the back side as well. We don't want too much in there. We don't want to get watered down inside the tire because that promotes rust. And give it a little squeeze. And just like that, the lower bead is on. This, unfortunately, this tool kind of scrapes up the top lip of the rim a little bit. That's unfortunate, not ideal, but life goes on. Start. Start the tire and start pulling around. We want the far side to go into the groove that's the center of the tire so that it gives us the most distance around this side. And I don't know whether you can see. Actually, that didn't do too bad of a job. The rust that I'm seeing came off this. Here's our tire filler. It doesn't have a shut-off valve in the tip of this, so it should work fairly well. We put it on, pull the trigger, and then we kind of wiggle the tire. And in theory, the bead should seat. There we go. Now we're up to 35 psi there, because that makes so much noise. I'm going to put the Schrader valve back inside that valve stem, and then we'll spread a little water around and see if we can see any leaks. I don't see anything bubbling up on that bead on that side. That looks pretty good. This is going to be a little tricky to get this retainer off. I left it loose this time. Good. The first one that I did, I had this dog tightened down as tight as it would go, and as the tire inflated, it kind of pushed up on the rim and made this difficult to take off. But I left it a little bit loose this time around, and that made all the difference. Bump this up to 40 psi and we'll see where we're at. That was easy. Let's flip it up and we'll see if we've got any leaks on the backside bead. That looks good to me. Let me put this over with the other tire and I'll get the rest of these mounted up. Well guys, I think we've had another successful experiment here. Two of these have tubes, two of them don't, and they seem to be holding air. I think we'll call that a success. Now it's time to mount them on the truck, but that is going to be its own video. We've got a couple other things I want to do to the truck at the same time. So I think we've got enough content there to make something. If you got this far in the video, can you give me a thumb up, give me a like, and if you haven't already done so, consider subscribing to the channel. Maybe ring that bell icon. And we'll catch you guys in the next mess. Thanks for watching.